Hey Denise, Arwin here. Just a quick recording to give you some feedback about the email that you sent me. First of all, it looks good. I really like the way you build it. It's very consistent with what we talked about. So yeah, overall it looks good. But I first want you to understand that there's a difference between direct response marketing, which is kind of what we're doing, like putting a hook out there, getting people to take the next step and then take the next step and take the next step. And email marketing, which is basically people that already know you, they're on your list, they already kind of like trusted you with their email address, and how to work there. So for an email marketing perspective, this is way too much. So basically, when you think about email marketing, like mailing to your list, there's two things that you want to have in mind. One is you want to keep relating to the mail list, the people on the list, by periodically like posting maybe links to a blog or some updates or etc. Because if you never mail and then suddenly you mail them with an offer, it usually feels kind of awkward for people receiving that, like, hey, I never hear from this person and now suddenly they want to sell me something, right? So that's one thing. Like keep in mind that the relationship with the audience is the most important one. Um, and even if it's like once a month, it's good to come up with something where you add value once a month, share a testimonial from one of your clients, just give some free advice or some free training, uh, etc. So that's kind of like the continuous mailing that you want to do to your list. And even if you haven't done that so far, that's something you might want to consider. And then the other thing, and that's what we're talking about here, is doing campaigns. Don't do single emails. The problem with this email is you try to do everything in one email. And I'm calling it a problem because my experience is it doesn't work. So instead of thinking about one email, you're using MailChimp, and MailChimp actually uh, allows you to create like campaigns and even like campaigns where depending on what people do, they go to different campaigns, but that's more advanced stuff. So a campaign is more like a series of emails that you start, and then depending on how people move through the series, where they end up, right? So instead of trying to do everything in one email, a campaign might be like 5 or 7 emails, something like that, where the first email is just an announcement, like, "Hey, I've been working hard on this great new program. Um, uh, I'll be introducing my Getting Unstuck and Moving Forward system soon, so keep an eye on your email address, on your email, right?" So it's just a teaser. So now in their mind, they're going like, "Oh wow, something is happening. Denise is actually going to show me something," right? It's just setting expectations. So the second email might be, let's say we do 5. So the first one is just a teaser. The second one is like, "Hey, I'm introducing this program. Check it out," right? The third one is a reminder, like, "Hey, if you haven't checked out my program, here it is again." And then the fourth one is maybe a testimonial from someone who says like, this program helped me really well. And then number 5 is just like, "Hey, this is your final reminder. Um, uh, when you haven't checked it out yet, here's what it is. Check it out," right? So instead of like in one time try to do everything, you have now 5 emails, 5 contacts, um, 5 possibilities for to interact and for them to kind of get used to the idea that you have a new program and that they want to participate. So that's more about how to do email marketing versus what we've been doing so far. It's way more complex than what we're saying right now, but that will very much um, improve the conversion, right? Just one email out of nowhere, it doesn't resonate with them. But if you announce it, then introduce it, then remind them, then give them a little either a teaching from your program or a testimonial so they get value, and then a final reminder, you create some context why they should click the link. I hope that makes sense. So Another thing with email marketing is you only want one uh, call for action. So maybe you just want to give away, like the first campaign is just to give away the free video, right? So more people get to know what you're doing. So it's very low um, risk for them. They just click, they watch the video, they know what you're doing. Then maybe a second campaign uh, for people who watch the video might be uh, download your PDF with the blueprint. So now they actually have something. So again, you give something away. And again, that might be like 3 or 4 emails to get them to download it, right? And then the big step is how to schedule a free consultation. So that's another maybe 3 to 5 emails to get that done. Now, here's how it really works. And this is kind of like more advanced stuff, but I know when we first met, you wanted that. Um, the beauty about MailChimp and other programs like this is you can set rules based on people's actions. So if they click, for instance, if you start with just like not introducing the program, but introducing the free video, right? That's the first call to action. You introduce the program, watch the free video. Um, you can see who opened the email. You can see who actually clicked on a link. Now, obviously, as long as nobody opens it, you want to change, you want to work on how to write like the subject of an email so that people open it, right? And once they more like maybe a third, 20 to 30% opens it, now you're okay there. Then you want to work on how many people click the link. And those people you want to put on a different list. And you can do that. You can automate that. You keep them on the original list, but you just create a new list, like clicked link to watch the video. Now, these people you can send like a specific campaign. Hey, I know you clicked on the link to watch the video. That's not how you say it, but hey, how did you like my free video? Did you know that there's actually going to be for you, there's a free consultation, right? So now you know that if they take you up on the free consultation, they already at least clicked on the free video, right? So it's just ways to, or hey, did you watch the free video? Here's the PDF that I showed. Here's the system that I showed. I thought you might appreciate it. And you just send them the link. And then again, if they click it and they download it, you can see all that in MailChimp. You can all put it in there. Now you know these people are hot. You actually want to call them, right? So it's really about building a relationship and figure out who's ready, um, but also like not a one-time shot. It's really about planning a strategy. They call it campaigns, even segmenting your list, like the ones that are actually reacting, you want to give them more attention, and the ones that are kind of like ignoring you at this point, no problem. They still keep like the monthly updates or the bi-weekly updates, but they're not part of this campaign. I hope that makes sense. So one call to action, definitely. And finally, um, and then we go into the details of the email itself. Finally, with email marketing, since you do have a website already, I would prefer uh, to get them to your website. So um, the email can be kind of like short and then learn more, click here, and then the full story, like the full text, is a page on your website that is not in your menu, so people can't browse there. They can't go there. They can, but it's a like a page, like a standalone page on your website, so to speak, and you link them from the email to your website because that's the first conversion. So it's not just like watch the video now. It's like hey, learn more here or watch the video, but then you put the video on your website. Why? Because bottom line, that's your your home. You want to invite them into you. They come to you, and that's where they receive value. It's like a very powerful way of letting them know if you come to me, you get something of value. Whereas in the email, they can read everything, but you don't know if they read it, right? But the ones that actually click the links, you know they've been on the website, they've seen it, and you can monitor your results. So it's a bit more work, but if you really want to work a list, those are some of the things you definitely want to um, think about implementing a periodical, like more general blog for everyone on the list, campaigns that separates the ones who are ready with one call to action at least. I prefer 5 to 7 emails for each campaign because people are just bombarded by emails, and that means they won't see it, or they see it, they like it, something happens, they miss it. So a series, like announce it, uh, show them, maybe give them some teaching for free. If you do 7, you can do maybe another testimonial or some other like content, like free content, like a like a sneak preview, just to, and then finally get them to sign up. Segment the ones that are ready, that are clicking, so you can really hone your message. I'm not saying you need to do this all at once. I'm just saying these are like the main strategies with email marketing, and invite them to your website, to a page that you own, that is in your house style, and not do everything in the email. Not try to do everything in the email. The purpose of the email is to get them to click, and then they learn from you. The email is not to learn from, if that makes sense. You need to have there needs to be something in there, um, but it's not for them to read the email. It's definitely for them to get a click, to get a call to action. Every step on the way, you need to think about what is it that I want them to do, so I can measure if they're in this like little window of opportunity where they're ready to move forward, right? And everyone who's not, you don't want to um, give them extra attention at this point in time, because they probably don't like it, because otherwise they would have reacted, right? So, and segment your list so you know who's ready. So that's kind of a little overview. If you do have questions about that, we can set up a time to talk. But um, so about the email itself, very nice opening. I really like that. Um, it's clear that you're promoting your company is there. An exciting announcement, obviously. Um, I would I would make it an announcement to the future. So there's a next email and the next one. This would just be like, hey, keep an eye on your email. Um, and then we go to the next section. These are just too small. Can you see, like with the header? Why do people get stuck? How do they get unstuck? Uh, Great look, but then I cannot read these. So try to do something about the font, make it bold, make sure that if there's a text in here, it's just not professional if you can't read the image, right? So make sure you these are just small adjustments, but yeah, make sure I can read them if I open the email, or if it's on your website, same thing, right? Is this you? This is great because you used a picture of a woman, which is a very nuanced way to say I work with women without saying it. So great work. I love it. Good picture. Um, yeah, it's not like completely desperate, but it's definitely desperate. So great picture. I like it a lot. I hope it's yours. You can use it. You got the rights to use it for promotions. If it's in an email, it's less risky. If you put this on a website, you definitely want to own uh, the picture, buy it somewhere, or buy a similar picture. They're not that expensive in this resolution. Is this you? Great. I know what it feels like. Great. Your story? Great. So what I like about your story, instead of like having different areas, you stack them. Like this happened, and then this came, and then on top of that, this came. So it's more like, um, yeah, when life breaks down, it breaks down. Like when it rains, it pours, basically. And I know a lot of people feel that way. So beautiful. I really like the content. I think it's good. Um, yeah, one thing about the what would you use bold and what wouldn't you use bold? So suffocating and you need to get out. I think the first bullet is about bad relationships. So I would go bad relationships, go nowhere job, crushing debt, uh, grieving, just grieving, and then feeling stuck. Um, so those were the things that I would want to jump at me, because this is pushing the pain buttons, right? And if you go like bad relationship, They know how it feels, like just seeing those words. If you put like go nowhere job, it will trigger the feeling trapped, right? So I would be more sparse and more strategic about the words. Um, but then again, that's just my point of view. Maybe this is exactly what you want. So everything I'm saying in this call is just a suggestion, okay? But that's what I would say. Bad relationship, go nowhere, etc. So this is also great. Frozen in fear. I love this sentence. Uh, this is really a great copy. I really like this. Like dig my heels to fight change when change was really what I needed. Um, just saying, I like it because it will resonate with some of them for sure. Panic and peer overwhelming story, perfect. Um, now, and this is maybe just my education. So when you say I didn't want fear to determine my future anymore, it's passive. I don't want to be in debt. I don't like it when it rains, right? It's passive. When you say I didn't want to choose to let fear to determine my future anymore, and you can even leave the word choose. I didn't want to let fear or allow fear to determine my future anymore. It becomes active. It's more empowering. Words, some little tweaks in words can make a huge difference. So yeah, of course you don't want it. But if I'm not, I chose not to allow fear, or I didn't want to allow fear. Like you can play with the words, whatever is work for you. But the more it's active, like it implies a choice, the more it empowers them to make a choice. Like you can make the same choice. You can choose not to let fear. I hope that makes sense. But for me, those small tweaks typically can make a huge difference in how people perceive what you're writing and perceive how where they have a choice. So, anyways, this one, yeah, perfect. Um, one more thing that I noticed is you're great at pushing the pain buttons. It's very clear, but again, with using bold and not bold, the next step, which you have like move forward with your own lives, loves, and passions. It's here again, your new life, love, and passion. Uh, it's never the thing that is in bold. It's always part of a sentence, so it never jumps out. Um, it's like the carrot and the stick. As much as I love pushing the pain button to get their attention and really address the issue, um, you want the carrot as well, right? You want to have this thing where they want to go to, and I would say that somewhere you want to highlight those as well beyond where they're just part of a text where people because if you highlight stuff, the stuff that's not highlighted is not going to be read by most people. Just saying. So get unstuck, move forward, great, but um, somewhere it's kind of hidden in the layout, not in the number of times that you mention it, but in the layout of your text. It's kind of hidden. Um, uh, yeah, I would definitely increase your love, joy, peace, abundance. See, it's there, but I don't see it because it's not bold. Maybe you need just somewhere you need to do a bullet list with them as well and make them bold or something so people who are ready to get like seduced to that new possibility, um, they get a little bit extra attention to those words. It's not about the time when you use them, it's about they don't show up in the layout. I hope that makes sense. Your promise. Uh, yeah, great. It's the biggest words. It's very clear. I'm going to show you what worked for me and why I'm so passionate about bringing this to you and others who have struggled just like I have. So since it's the biggest words, almost like uh, in the whole thing, probably people will when they scroll down just before they get and they start reading this. I promise to show you what worked for me. It has no context at all. It doesn't tell me what worked in what context. So when people open an email or click in a link and they open your website page where this is at, um, they're not going to just start reading at the top and go all the way down. people scroll. People go like, "Is this interesting? What is this about? I promise you to show what worked for me." So in your promise, you want to be more explicit. What worked for me to regain my life and get unstuck and create love and passion again. Something like that. There needs to be something in there that they go like, if this is the first thing they see because it's the biggest font, it like really shouts in your face, it needs to give them some context what the rest of the page is about so they want to read it. So this can be about anything in life. I promise you, I promise to show you what worked for me, uh, learning how to cook, learning how to drive my car, dealing with insecurity, uh, getting financially free. It doesn't say anything, right? So I would suggest think about a very short way in a few words to really, really, um, yeah. And really with the promise, it's more important to show them what worked for me than why you are passionate, right? um, I think the promise is really about them. So I promise to show you what worked for me in getting unstuck and creating a life with new hope, love, and passion so that you can have it as well. Something like that. This is not the right copy yet, but that would be more about them. Anyways, this is just my 5 cents. Um, I like the little banners. Again, somewhere you want to emphasize on the other side a bit more. I have so that those are kind of the biggest ones. Um, on what's there. I love it. Nice picture. Good for you. Um, yeah. Other than that, great work. And if you have any questions after this, let me know. But for now, yeah, keep at it and let me know the results. I'd love to hear them. Cheers.